In this very special edition of the Weekly Companion, we're taking you to the first Gorilla Highlands Experts Picnic that was broadcast live from Musanze, Rwanda on February 27th, 2021. It was hosted by Matt Miller of Virunga Valley Academy and physically attended by 4 experts: Chef Rama, Ranger Emma, Chocolatier Patrick, and for sure, our ringleader Miha. The topic was Musanze and our reason to set our base here. But some time was devoted to Bukavu in Congo as well, as that's the destination of the Christmas mega trek. This is a 30-minute best-of summary, and the show must go on.
We would like to begin this particular first ever online picnic with an example of what being online actually means. I would wish to invite Marcus to give us a little presentation of Musanze through his photography and tell us his own experience with the town.
Here we are. This is Musanze as it looked in, I want to say, late 2015. Even though I've been there since, we haven't really done any photography there since, but it's something I should do more of because it's a very beautiful town, and it's obviously the backdrop is very, very nice. This is one of the few times that I did any street photography in Musanze. I remember trying another time, and I went out with Jane because I wanted to be really polite and make sure that we were asking for permission all the time. But even with Jane going first and asking for permission, we didn't get permission to photograph anybody. So we didn't get much of that. But this guy was, he was happy being photographed, I think. And then Miha also asked me to just show a few photos of some of the different animals that you might come across in the Gorilla Highlands region. You know, for me, this part of Africa has always been of huge interest for primates in general. So not just for gorillas, but because it's such a great place to be if you're interested in primates in general. I mean, obviously there are 2 gorilla species or subspecies very close to each other with mountain gorillas and Grauer's gorillas. And for most people, that's what they will know about, at least the mountain gorillas. And as much as this initiative has been about trying to get people to look beyond that, we still can't ignore them because they are still, of course, incredible animals. There's chimpanzees in several places in the Gorilla Highlands region. I love chimpanzees. I don't love chimpanzee watching as much as I do with gorillas because they tend to move around more, and the terrain is often more challenging, and they're quite often high up in trees. Baboons, of course, this is just outside the Chuya forest on the road between Kisoro and Kabale in Uganda. This is one of the few times that I've lost my temper as well. I was with a group and a couple of local guides, and we'd gotten out of the car to photograph and to look at the baboons. And we were sitting by the open door just to be able to keep a safe distance and you know, show respect to the animals. And the local guide started throwing food out the window, but they didn't throw it very well, so it landed right next to the feet of my guests, and the baboons just came in a en masse to grab the food. And these baboons can be a little bit aggressive because they're so used to cars having food and throwing it out the windows. And then golden monkeys, of course, you can see them from both the Ugandan and the Rwandan side, and they are very, very beautiful animals, and the habituated families are very unafraid. So it's another nice chance to get close and personal with some of our slightly more distant relatives than the gorillas and the chimps. Actually, this is probably one of my favorite parts of spending time in this part of Africa. There are a lot of chameleons. I don't know that there's any place outside of Madagascar that's quite as fun when it comes to variety. If we expand what we mean with the Gorilla Highlands region a little bit up to Queen Elizabeth National Park, then of course you start getting all the standard wildlife, the bigger animals, elephants and the lions and so on. And that's a really nice area. But I'm actually a really big fan of Akagera in Rwanda as well. It's a small park and it doesn't get that much media attention, but it is really beautiful. The habitat is really varied. There's a lot of bird life. And these days, there are lions and there are rhinos in the park as well. And the views are absolutely stunning. And I'm just going to finish off quickly here with a slightly different type of wildlife photograph that I took on my very first visits to this part of the world. The first time I met Miha on Lake Bignoni and got to meet the local crayfish. I'm sorry to say this one didn't survive that long, but you know, it's still a different kind of wild animal.
I have another member that is the big voice of Gorilla Highlands. So I wanted John to give us a little bit of that.
I enjoy this exotic immersion in the area and all the wildlife there, including Miha, you know, another element of wildlife, which is pretty amazing. I enjoy the camaraderie of all of you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I would like to add that in terms of my comrades, there's nobody like John, who is always there on a daily basis, not just recording narrations, but also trying to improve the English of all of us.
So Miha, with his rather thick accent, you know, trying to make a career in video with speech patterns like that, amazing, Miha, that you have such courage.
Well, you know, the fact is that once you are here, the more far you are from the so-called proper English or Queen's English and so on, the more you are understood. So in my 20 years of Africa, I've only been encouraged not to imitate you guys, but to try to speak in a way that people actually understand. because communication at the end of the day solves a couple of obstacles on the way.
You bet.
So, yeah, not to mention that my formative years of English speaking all happened in Uganda. So I'm now quite an exotic animal for sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, the next thing on our menu is actually locally produced. And that is a small little tour through Musanze, just to give you a sense of what Musanze is about. It's kind of hard to even imagine an African town like the ones Rwanda has, because Rwanda is just different in so many positive ways. So I'm now going to play you a little tour through Musanze, just to give you a sense of it and explain a couple of things with Matt's help. Yeah, so we are now rushing through Musanze, and it slows down where things are important. So you can see all the developments on both sides of the road. There is a huge attempt to introduce only multi-story buildings and make Musanze a proper town. It was you, Matt, who told me that the plan is to kind of have 1 million people in Musanze soon?
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually. Yeah, so what's also very interesting is that Musanze is the place of security institutions. So now on our right, we see the police academy, Rwanda Center for the Policemen, but we also have the military educational center. We have, of course, also many NGOs dealing with gorillas. We've just driven past
Diane Fossey Gorilla Fund.
Gorilla Fund, exactly. And we are now approaching one of Matt's side projects, the Krima Cafe. Matt is not just a director, he's also a businessman. Do you want to say something about that?
Well, it really was my son and a Rwandan friend. When my son was 16, he had a dream of bringing a specialty coffee shop to our town. So he opened Krima, and it's become a really cool center of both art and coffee and tourism in our town.
We are passing by Fatima Hotel that I enjoy as a place for sweet. But you know, it's one of those things that I appreciate about Musanze. It's in a rural area, but has some sweet things like coffee shops, a good swimming pool or 2 or 3 or 4. So we are really not badly off here in Musanze. Now we've again sped up a little bit just to give you a sense of the main street. This is the way to Gisenyi, to Rubau, to Lake Kivu. And very soon we are going to reach VVA, Virunga Valley Academy. This is Rwanda on the main road. Of course, when you turn a little bit off the road, it's not that smooth and everything, but clean and organized and definitely an environment one appreciates after 20 years in Uganda. You can easily imagine that. So we are now turning towards VVA. And now that we are here, and I'm already showing you my videos, I want to show you the second one. You can see the new building, the newest one behind these guys, and the castle with the library behind this one. So we are entering the library now, just to give you an idea of how cool this environment is. So it's not really a school you would expect. And behind the library, the art room is hiding. One of those good things about COVID, because it forced the school to enlarge the art room to get this amazing, huge space where children really enjoy their creativity. And yeah, another COVID thing, the teacher trying to showcase art through a camera and a big screen because it's not proper to have children all grouped around you. A kiddo showing his amazing little collage with the volcano exploding in lava, the teacher talking about African patterns. So I'm a little bit biased. I really like fine art, so I spent slightly more time here. But then I also wanted to show you the nursery school. We are now looking at children of all ages. We are seeing children promising things to their teacher, how to do this and that day. We are seeing children enjoying their dancing. And look there behind that space. That is VVA to me, always trying to make it a little bit cozy and unusual. This is a class of typing, Matt?
Yes. Computer skills.
Computer
That
skills.
beautiful lady is my wife. Not that, that's a guy. That's the one before.
This beautiful lady here is called Mr. Hayes, and he is leading high school children who are basically doing their program online. So they come to school, but they use an online solution because it's just difficult to get accreditation, right? To do something like that. And the gym with the dining place. And finally, a little bit of craziness for you. Like it would be inappropriate not to get some of proper life at the end of the video. I hope you get the feeling, at least, for why I wanted to have my children here. It's so rare to find a good school in a rural area, but it's even more rare to find a school of this quality anywhere.
We came to Rwanda 9 years ago, and I've been in Africa for 20 years as a missionary. And I know that word missionary sometimes has baggage with it. There's horrible things that have happened because of missionaries. We're trying to be missionaries who do helpful and constructive things. And when we got to Rwanda and looked at the vision of Rwanda for development and what we could contribute, originally we started a small informal school because our kids needed to have a place to study. But over time, our Rwandan friends started saying, hey, we need a better school in our town as well, and really encouraged us to consider opening that up to others. I hadn't studied education, my wife hadn't studied education, but that seemed to be the best thing that we could do to contribute to the future of Rwanda and Musanze. So I entered into a Master's of Education program to kind of try to figure out what it would take to start a school. My wife did teacher certification, and we opened the doors to our kind of informal homeschool for our kids. And we started with a class of preschool students. We had 6 preschool students the first year, and then we added a class every year. We went from 13 students in 2014 to 140 students now. So we really believe at VVA in the power of love. There are 2 kinds of systems that I see in the world: systems based on fear and systems based on love. And you can have a school that's based on fear. Some of you have maybe been a part of them or seen them, where kids obey because they're afraid they're going to get beaten. Or you can have a school that is based on love, where the kids perform because they love their teachers, they love each other. Same thing in business. There are businesses that are run with fear, businesses that are run through love and respect. Even governments can be based on fear or on love. We believe that systems of love result in so much more productivity, so much more healthiness. And we want our school to be a spark for that, so that as our students experience that when they go into leadership as business people or in government or teachers or whatever they do, they can carry that system into what they are a part of. So we found that the art room is the place where students kind of find their voice and their creativity spreads into the rest of the program. So our art program is really central to what we do.
The next one that we are going to give a couple of minutes to is Patrick the Chocolatier, just because his story is interesting, his reasons to be in Musanze are special, and I felt it was important for you to meet our chocolate expert, who is not just active in Rwanda, he's also starting things in Congo, where unlike in Rwanda, there is actually local production of cocoa.
I came to an economic mission doing Uganda, Kenya, and Rwanda. And here in Rwanda, the people ask me, Muzungu, Muzungu. That means white man. Muzungu, are you going to invest? May I work for you? And that was in fact the reason. In Europe, everybody was looking no longer to work, but being paid. And here they asked me if they could work. And I came back. I didn't know much about the money here. So I thought in European money, if they talk about 200,000, it's already a lot. So I took 200. I took 200 euros, and it seemed to be 200,000 Rwandese francs. And that's what I invested. That's what I took on with me to come to Rwanda. And after 5 years, I'm still surviving on these 200,000. I don't have really the money to travel a lot. I'm always in Musanze. I have no car. I have no house at me. So I do a lot by food, by accident, just to save some money. I was hosted by the sisters, and they built a new chapel. And when the chapel was inaugurated, I said I have to do something. And being an old chocolatier, I had one mold, and I prepared something for them as a chocolate. And there were cardinals and there were effects, and I don't know who was all there, but that was my present. And it seems that they took it to Kigali, and that's how my project started. In fact, it doesn't mean much. There is no there's no big market for luxury chocolate. I want to show that even white men that are almost possessing no money, they can be successful by the end, only by using your brains and working all the time. And if we can add it to the young people here of Africa, if they can see that it's possible to start from scratch, I hope that there will be followers. There will be people that say yes, like Obama said. That's often something. Yes, we can.
Hi, everybody. My name is Emmanuel Harilmana. I'm the gorilla guide actually in Volcanoes National Park. Some of you be jealous. It was my first time to see the gorillas when I was 4 years old. Because I born in the mountains, and that was my dream to become a guide since I was like 7, 8 years. So I'm very happy that I'm now living my dream, I'm saying. And now the tourism are really open. Gorillas are waiting for you. Guides you are there to serve you once you are coming to enjoy with us this kind of great experience. Thank you very much.
You should not miss Emma's little dispatches from the national park that we publish on the Gorilla Highlands Experts platform every other week. It's really an insight into the life of a ranger that is impossible to get in any other way. The next expert that I'm going to show you is the one who's been very patiently working behind the curtain. This is Chef Rama, one of the biggest chefs of not just Rwanda but Africa, and he's doing some cool stuff for us who are physically present. Emma, please at least greet them.
Hello, I'm Chef Rama. So now I'm doing my stuff here to make people here happy with this virtual picnic. So I wish to host you also.
The last person I wanted to introduce to you, just because she's an important member of our team in Musanze and doesn't get to be spoken about often is Madame Joanne.
Hi, everybody. My name is John. Yeah, I'm not an expert, but I work. I'm heading there. Yes, I work with Mr. Miha here in Musanze. I work at the office. Basically, that's what I do.
Now, I want to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Samo Achko, who has showed up on the screen 1 hour late. I did not expect that from him. And his wife was even complaining that we didn't let them in. We do not usually even accept belated arrivals, but with people like you, my God, we need to do that.
Thank you. It's an honor that I was let in very late. So it's been a long time since we were last in Uganda and Rwanda. And this is actually our first Gorilla Highlands related meeting in years. And hopefully we'll see you next year. No, this year.
Well, that was definitely something that we are going to count on as a promise.
Samu, you might not know this, but because your presence in the project has changed a little bit over the last few years, Mia actually told me the other day when he was sending me stuff to look over, he's like, yeah, but you're the new Samu now because, he's got a family. Like, I can't rely on him answering straight away anymore.
It would be kind of sad if Marcus, a photographer, replaced Samu, a graphic designer. But what he actually replaced is the ideology side of it. So when I need something deep to discuss with somebody, I come to Marcus. Because if I ask Samu a question, he's going to respond briefly in 3 weeks. And my life is faster than that. In Africa, we actually do things quickly. We want action. I also want to welcome back from COVID, Mr. Steve.
Oh, hello
Steve,
there.
Disappeared
Yes.
from our team for a while. Yes, who was fighting COVID in Kosovo. What an interesting place to have COVID and other things. And we just I don't know, Steve, you're one of the late ones. You heard that was a privilege to be accepted in, but you also get a chance to say something.
Okay. Well, hello everybody from Kosovo, and yes, my wife and I were unfortunate to get COVID, but fortunately we both had it at the same time, so we're carrying a lot of antibodies, which means that we can start traveling a little bit and getting outside a little bit more without being concerned about it. But for those of you, most of you, probably don't know me. I was down there 2.5 years ago and helped Mia with the trying to lay out some plans for the future. My background's fundraising and strategic planning, so that's when I got tied into the community and have been a part of it since then, off and on, with helping whenever Mia gives me the call.
Thank
the food
you.
looks good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, the food
Thank you
looks
so much
good.
for this sharing. Now, Henry, are we allowed to ask you to say some words?
Yeah, my name's Henry. I am a journalist. I'm actually trying to write an article about what Miha is doing with the Gorilla Highlands at the moment. The Gorilla Highlands Experts program that he's kind of innovating, and which this picnic is a part of, feeds into a lot of kind of prevailing themes about travel in the post-COVID era. So we're hoping that we can get some publicity for him.
So Henry and I met at a press trip for Gorilla Highlands in Edorisa a few years ago, and we've worked together since then in Ethiopia and Djibouti and in Mongolia. And if it wasn't for COVID, we would have probably been to Tajikistan and Slovenia by now together as well. And hopefully we'll be back in Africa doing some assignments together there again. Might see you on the Mega Trek if you end up going.
I hope so. That would be amazing. Yeah. No, the Mega Trek looks incredible. I saw the someone put the itinerary up on the experts platform yesterday, and it did look incredible. So,
guys, since we are on this topic and it's dear to me, would you allow me 1 minute of Bukavu, my favorite city in the region, in Africa, and so on, just to further convince you that you cannot miss that experience at the end of the year?
No.
So I'm going to use the footage that Bukavu Explorer guys have sent me. These are basically the guys who who promote Bukavu and are good friends. That map showed the location of Bukavu, but now we are moving into the city. Bukavu was my dream for many years until I finally, with Marcus, managed to actually go there. And I've been returning to the city, and I just like the way it's a forgotten jewel built by Belgians, you know, making an amazing urban area in the center of Africa. Now, of course, a little bit run down, but beautiful and interesting. And I don't know if you have managed to interact with many Congolese people. They are just a special bunch, extremely welcoming. My favorite story is that when I went to Bukavu, 2 people paid for my transport in one day. What doesn't happen in Uganda in 1 year, just because I was a guest. And that ship was basically showing how you can leave Bukavu by boat, going to Goma. The red dots are showing what we want to do on foot, or if people prefer with bicycles or cars or whatever you want to do. And then we want to go to Goma by speedboat and also climb Nyiragongo. And I want you there, guys. I really want you there. It's meant for veterans. It's meant to be a membership perk for those who join Gorilla Highlands Experts. But above all, it's meant for you. Yesterday, Marcus and I were finalizing the program, being in touch with our guides and being in touch with Gloria in Congo. And we even came up with an evil plan of bringing fireworks to Bukavu for the first time ever, they say. So because Marcus wants to have good photos of fireworks over Bukavu, we are going to bring fireworks into Bukavu so that Marcus can sit on the other side of the bay in Rwanda and take photos of fireworks. Like, if that is not an example of what we do, there is no better example than that. Like, always pushing the envelope, but in very strange directions. Now, there is somebody here who is like going lower and lower on his chair because he knows what's coming next. Andy in Austria knows that he's the only one who hasn't spoken, and he has an obligation to tell us a little bit more. Andy's special role has been that he started our whole video map production process many years ago, and now he's stuck in Austria doing academic work. Sorry, come back. Megatrack, you are with us, right?
Honestly, I'm really thinking about this Megatrack from the moment I read about it. And I think that would be quite an amazing time to come back to Uganda and Rwanda. Mike, back to you.
Thank you so much, Andy. Now you're also seeing people with without masks. I can now also remove mine and give you a proper smile because now we are eating. We are sorry you aren't, but I hope you will. And this is somebody else who still has a mask but wants to say something.
Yes. Hi, I'll stay 5 meters away from me. Hi, all new and old people. It's nice to have you. Oh, hi, Marcus. Sorry, I finally saw someone I know. But it's really good. It's really good to have you guys join us. I hope you're eating something. You look sad. I'm sorry. We have a lot of food and we want to share.
What I want to end up with from my point of view is that I am, after 1 month of Gorilla Highlands Experts, I'm completely convinced that that's what I want to do. It's been a little bit intense. It's been a little bit too much, but also exactly what I want to do. So we did it for one month in a very small circle. And on Monday, we are opening our blog to the public and starting a little bit more of promotion because now we are kind of knowing what we are doing. What Henry is working on is also going to be a push for us whenever that gets published. So it was a nice, intimate first month of Gorilla Highlands Experts. And I'm glad we ended up with a picnic. And I'm looking forward to what happens next. I'm looking forward to your participation. I'm looking forward to also meet you all at the Mega Trek. And I want to give the last word to Mr. Matt, who was my co-host and who is the founder of this amazing place that brought us to Musanze.
I'm trying to swallow my food so I can talk. I'm really honored that we got to be the hosts of the first Gorilla Highlands picnic. I'll put in a plug for our school. You've seen how beautiful Musanze is, how it's right in the middle of all those wonderful things on that map. Some of you have little kids. Why don't you just move here? We've got a wonderful school and you can just become a part of this story. We want to see Musanze become the second city of Rwanda. And the way that we're going about that is if there's something missing, we just try to find a way to start it. So started a school. There wasn't great coffee. We started a coffee shop. But there's lots of other things that are missing and we need you to come here and start them. Because we want people to not feel like they have to run to Kigali every time that they're bored, but be able to stay here because Musanze is such a beautiful and wonderful place. We didn't talk about the Twin Lakes.
The next picnic is going to be at the Twin Lakes.
Oh,
and we actually have the future host in our group, but she's kind of shy about. I'm going to try to convince her again to say something, because we want to be next month on her family's island on Lake Burera.
But you know, this area of Africa, there's just no place in Africa that can compare to the diversity and beauty and different wildlife. And I mean, you've got the plains of Queen Elizabeth and the glaciers of the Ruwenzoris, the volcanoes of Rwanda, Lake Kivu. It's just an incredible place to be. And we're excited about what all of you are doing to help promote that. Looking forward to continuing to grow in partnership. Eventually, the students of VVA are going to be the people that you're going to turn to lead your businesses and run these tours and all of that. So we need to talk in another 5 to 10 years when they start graduating from here, because we're going to have some really great young Rwandans who are ready to jump into their professional lives. But thank you for joining us. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and talking about that, I think you saw some fruits of my work, moving around and doing camera work. I think you deserve to also get a proper greeting from Mani and Enya, as long as they can accept that. Mani. He is not muted, just for the record. Come on, say hi to our good people.
Hey.
Okay, guys, I tried. Enya ran away. Maybe she comes back, but I can capture my son Lan in action, and that's also where Deli, the host of the next picnic, is found with her son. Hi, Lan.
And Liam say hi?
Yes, Liam say hi too. Liam say hi. Liam say hi. Liam say hi. Liam say hi. Okay. Let's not go too far, but let's allow Deli to say something.
Hey, everybody. So I'm Deli, not Delphine, I can say,
Yeah.
and nice to see you guys. So we're having a good time here with Miha, of course, and actually, my mom is running like some hotels in here, Musanze. So we have a good island. So we invite you to come one day.
I think you deserve a little bit of Enya, because many of you saw her as a baby when you came for a visit, and she's now ready to actually speak. You're also not muted, Enya.
Hi! It's Enya. What's up? So, like, Manny's running away, but it's nice to see you all, and yeah.
Okay, guys, I tried. You know, in many ways they've taken my genes, but in terms of shyness, nah, they are somebody else's production. So, guys, I'm hungry. I'm passing the camera, the iPad to Mr. Mani.
Jumping. Thank you.
Still have a chance of promoting the region, what we are all about. Why is the camera on me?
Because you're the only one talking.
Let it be on land.
Lani! Welcome to the adventures of Lan.
No. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Flighty. Could I have some?
That's no. This is not